Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week I did not actually go to the movies, so it's all about the games this time. First, I want to mention that I did finish the Mulan Star Path in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I just had the one thing left to do, which was cooking 5-star desserts, so like every day I would just cook 2 or 3 of them, and then eventually the other day I finally finished it and got the last thing. So that's done. And thankfully, and I already had, basically that was the last Star Path duty, so I had everything already, all the rewards. This was just so I could get that extra bonus moonstones, which was only like 90 moonstones or whatever, it was lame. But what's crazy is that I still have like 20,000 moonstones, so I actually did spend a few. I went in the shop this past week, and I looked to see what they had, and I was like, ooh, they had a big Ferris wheel with Mickey's face on it. And I was like, yes, please, I will have that Ferris wheel. And then I also ended up buying the this like red panda onesie just because it looked really cute. And, you know, I have like 20,000 moonstones because I've been hoarding them and not buying anything with them. But you don't have to worry because these things are only like 1,000 moonstones a piece. So it's like, whatever, buy yourself a little something nice. So, whatever. But the onesie's cute. And then I did play some Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Switch, which is, it's very odd to play the remake because the graphics are all pretty in 3-dimensional, but the gameplay is, you're still on that grid. You know, it's up, down, left, right, attack, you know, and so it's hard for me to, like, I look at the game and I want to just do whatever, and it's like, no, you still have to play it like old school Zelda on the grid. Like there was a boss in the was it the Bottle Cavern or something? That dungeon was like, that was kind of a pain in the ass also. But there was a mini boss in there that like I kept trying to go around, but it was like I couldn't move the way I wanted to move to avoid his attacks, and it was like really frustrating. It was like I had to do it a few times before I beat him because it's just so odd, like putting your brain back into the retro gameplay of it all, even though it looks modern. But I did not actually play a ton of Link's Awakening. I only played it like at the very beginning of the week, and then on like Friday I went in the city, so I played it on the train because I went into the city because I went to buy my new Lego Animal Crossing sets, except I have not put these together yet because I wanted to put together the Plum Blossom from the Botanical Collection first because it's just so pretty. These will probably get done next week. Or maybe I'll make them last one a week or something. We'll see. But I didn't play a lot of Zelda because I got sucked back into No Man's Sky. So let me explain. So you remember last episode how I talked about how playing No Man's Sky to check out the New Worlds Update Part 1, I was reminded that my game was bugged or something because I couldn't get the autophage quest to load. Like, they wouldn't start. And I had done all of the prerequisites, or so I had thought. I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I had just found an Atlas station while wandering about. So I was like, let me go back to that Atlas station. Because you go talk to the Atlas and it's like, do you want to reset the simulation, decline the Atlas, or just leave? And I just left because I was like, well, I don't want to reset it. Never mind. But I was like, what if I decline? Will that end the Atlas quest just the same? And then it turns out, no, it doesn't do anything. It's a slightly different dialogue, but nothing happens. And I thought, okay, fine. I'm just going to say reset the simulation, see what happens. And if it starts to do the thing where it's like, okay, pick a new galaxy to live in, I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to actually, I'm going to quit my game and restart it. But when I selected reset the simulation, it gave me a freaking Atlas seed recipe. And I was like, wait, what? I thought I had all of these. So I was completely befuddled. I was like, what? So I went back out to the galaxy map. There was an Atlas station a couple of jumps away, and so I warped over there, and I went into that Atlas station, and I did the same thing, and I said, sure, reset it, and it was like, here is the recipe for the Heart of the Sun. And I was like, the Heart of the Sun, that's the recipe I needed from back in the day when I realized that I didn't have everything and I didn't know how to finish the Atlas quest. It turns out all I had to do was say reset the simulation, because that's not what it's going to do. So, ta-da. So then I suddenly had a new mission for the Atlas quest. And I was like, like something to actually do instead of just wander about. Sometimes I like that, as long as it's not combat involved. So you had to craft all of the starseeds. And like each starseed, like you make the first starseed out of like whatever. And then every subsequent seed, you need the previous seed plus some new element, and it makes the next stage of the seeds. So the first few were like super easy. And then later on, you needed like very specific rare minerals in order to craft it. And at one point I ended up having to I realized I didn't have an engine. Like I can go to the regular systems and the red sun systems and the green sun systems, but I couldn't do the blue, and I needed to do the blue. So I had to look and see, I tried to go buy the blueprint, but I already had it. So then I just had to craft it, which took a whole bunch of other crap and a lot of running around and gathering things. So then I crafted that. Then I could get the blue element so that I could make all of the starseeds. And then at the end, you craft the Heart of the Sun, and it's like, okay, now go to another Atlas station. And this was a special Atlas station. There was no big, giant red blob. There was just like a ring of pedestals. And you went to each pedestal in turn, and then the center pedestal where you presented the Heart of the Sun, and it gave you a new recipe for a starseed. And I was like, what? And you birthed a new star. And I was concerned that this is where it would make me go into that universe, but it did not. It just birthed a galaxy, and you said, okay, good. And then you were done, and then you had the starseed. I was like, yay! But then I still wasn't getting anything jumping around from system to system. I still wasn't getting contacted by the autophage, and I thought, wait, maybe I have to actually craft those seeds to prove that I did. That's how you prove that you did the quest. Not just doing it and getting the recipe. You have to actually craft the recipe, and then that's how you would show the game that you did it, and the game would know, and then say, okay, now you can move on to the next thing. So I crafted the starseed, which also was annoying because I kept trying to craft it and I couldn't find the recipe, and I was like, what the hell? I know it gave me this recipe, like what the F? But you can't just craft it in a regular inventory. You have to craft it in your Exosuit's technology inventory, because everything got complicated. You can't craft it and then move it into technology. You have to actually craft it in your technology inventory. So that's where the recipe was. So I made that, and then I thought I should also make the Remembrance while I'm at it, because that's the real old school one. But then, so I had to go through it again, and I had to gather a few materials and stuff. It wasn't super easy. I couldn't just do it. So then I finally crafted those two things, and I was like, yay! And I traveled to dissonant systems, got no communication from the autophage. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I even landed on a dissonant planet, and I saw all the crystals and the technology and the corrupted sentinels and everything, but no autophage. And I'm like, it's so frustrating because I just don't know what to do. And the game is so open world that looking online, it's like, you have to have done this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, I've done that. But somehow it's still not working, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly why, because there's so many elements in No Man's Sky. It just makes everything super complicated. And it's really frustrating because the autophage do show up occasionally. Like, it showed up when I was managing my settlement. An autophage showed up and was like, hey, but as one of the decisions I had to make as far as managing my settlement. But what's weird is that since the autophage thing wasn't working, and I just kind of was like, fuck it, I ended up just doing some exploring and then teleporting back to my my settlement, and building my settlement more, because my settlement, wasn't great. But it's weird because anyone who's watched these videos for a long time knows I don't really care for Sims. I don't like SimCity or even The Sims or any kind of building thing. I don't like to have to build and maintain things. I just want to explore a world. I don't want to make it, because then you have to maintain it, and it's a pain in the ass. But the settlement in No Man's Sky is mostly self-governing. It can kind of take care of itself. But it's very simple. Like, you don't have to place buildings and then build them. You basically just say, like, you have a terminal. It's just making choices. So it's like, oh, there's a dispute with the residents. Pick this side or that side. Or they want to build this or that. Pick one, you know? And so it's just that. And then when you build something, you have to, like, supply it with the elements that it needs, which can sometimes be a pain in the butt. But, like, I totally went and was like, oh, like, let me just, like, do you want to build, I built a saloon instead of, like, a factory, because everyone was kind of miserable. So I was like, let me make them happier, and I'll build them a saloon. It'll make them happy. Our productivity will go down, but they'll be happier. And then I can build something to make productivity go up. And it was funny, I built the saloon, and then I went in there, and, like, the music's playing, and there's literally no one in there. And I was like, okay, why did I build this then? But then they just didn't realize it was there, I guess. Because now every time I go in there, there's at least a few people, and sometimes they're, like, in front of the disco music box dancing and stuff, and it's pretty cute. So it's weird that, like, but I like doing the settlement stuff because I feel like a sense of accomplishment, like something's happening. Because I can't do the quests. I mean, there's the quest with the giant bugs, but I don't really want to do that because that's a combat quest, and I'm not very good at combat in No Man's Sky, so I just like to explore. So I want to do the exploring quests, except I can't because they won't activate in my game. It's super annoying, but what are you going to do? So come back next episode, and maybe I'll have played more No Man's Sky, probably, and hopefully I'll have gotten back into Zelda. We'll see. Come back and find out. Bye!